Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our vagina talk today.
That's right.
But seriously, let's remove the stigma. Pelvic floor health is super important, and we just need to get more used to talking about it.
So let's all say it together. Vagina. So if you don't know us yet, welcome to our crazy site. We are Jill and Cara from Movement Duets. We are both personal trainers, and we specialize in helping women prenatal and postnatal get strong on the inside and out.
Right. And before we get into what we're going to talk about today, we wanted to give a shout out to one of our male followers. We actually don't have a lot of guys who care that much about pelvic floor health, so we just want to give a big shout out to Larry. Hi, Larry. Thanks for all the love and support.
Yes. Yeah, even men have pelvic floors too. It's really important.
And they have pelvic floor dysfunction. So, as you may or may not know, Cara and I both had babies this last year, and we know firsthand how important it is to take great care in how you work out both during your pregnancy and after.
Right, and the workouts that we give are not really sexy. They're not the lose 20 pounds in 20 days type of workout, although weight loss can be a great side effect to some of our workouts. But the workouts that you get are really geared towards getting strong on the inside and out, and being able to do all the things that you want to do and living a bigger and fuller life.
Right, so vaginas. Let's get into it then.
She walked into that one. Get into it.
Trying to get more comfortable, right?
Right.
So, one of the things that we have learned over the years is that pelvic floor dysfunction is often not caused by the pelvic floor muscles being too weak. They're actually caused by the pelvic floor being too tight.
Right. So, we want to make a public service announcement to all of those rappers out there that a tight you-know-what is not all that it's cracked up to be. When a muscle is too tight, it can't really fully contract. And so let's give an example of this. We'll use Jill's bicep because it's so beautiful.
Yay!
So if I was to strengthen Jill's bicep, I just kind of, this is kind of fun.
She's just petting it. That's not even part of
this. If I was going to strengthen Jill's bicep, I would not necessarily have her walking around flexed all the time, because this is going to tire her out, and over the long term, it's going to make her weaker. The way that I would strengthen this muscle is to have her extend it, relax it completely, and then contract from there. Now she's building strength through a full range of motion. And so this is the same way that we would want to treat the pelvic floor, is to find full relaxation so that you can also contract.
Right. So many women are actually unable to relax their pelvic floors. They walk around all day, every day with their pelvic floors slightly contracted, and this can cause a lot of problems.
Right, and most notably, the problems that you can have with a overly tight pelvic floor are incontinence, low back pain, knee pain, pelvic pain, and it can also lead to painful sex or painful deliveries, and that is just no bueno.
Yeah, we don't like that.
No.
So how does this even happen in the first place? Let's have what I like to call a vaginalization, shall we? So the diaphragm sits like an umbrella at the base of your rib cage, and it helps you to breathe. The pelvic floor sits at the base of your pelvis, and we actually like to think of the pelvic floor as more of a balloon or a trampoline than an actual floor.
Right, and so the diaphragm and the pelvic floor should work together like a piston. So when the diaphragm contracts and pulls up, the pelvic floor will also contract and pull up. When the diaphragm relaxes and spreads out, the pelvic floor will do the same thing. And this is really important to keep the whole core working as a system, in order to basically move the rest of your body.
Yeah, and for several reasons, many of us don't have a core system that works this way anymore. Between stress and sitting too much, many of us don't breathe with our diaphragm the way that we're supposed to, and we start breathing in and out of our shoulder and neck muscles, and this actually affects the way that your pelvic floor functions.
In addition, how many women out there have been told to suck in their tummies? Yes, I was in dance as a young girl, and that was one of the first things that we learned. Suck in your tummy, stick out your chest and arch your back, and that was proper posture. And it carried me throughout my entire life. Even today, when I get dressed in the morning, I have to remind myself not to suck in my tummy. Because what happens is when you create that pressure in your core in like that, it sort of screws up the whole pressure system of the core, and then the diaphragm and the pelvic floor, once again, are not working together the way that they're supposed to.
So how do you know if you even have pelvic floor tightness? First and foremost, go seek out a pelvic floor physical therapist.
Yes.
If you don't have any in your area, or if you're not sure, there are several resources. There's websites we can give you. But there's also ways to do a self-exam. We like to use the guidelines given on liftlaughkegel.com. They're hilarious.
Yes.
They actually have a little Orange is the New Black video in there, and what was the other
Amy
one?
Schumer.
Amy Schumer, yeah. Liftlaughkegel.com. We'll put the link in when we're done filming, but they help walk you through a self-exam and explain what you're feeling. This is mostly about anatomy. Our good friend and pelvic floor physical therapist, Amber Miller, she's over in Florida. She says that most women can't actually find the tightness in their pelvic floor doing a self-exam, but we still think it's worth doing because it will really help you to get to know your body. So again, we'll put that link in for the self-exam when we're done with the video here.
Right, and so your body will also give you several tells that you have a pelvic floor tightness. So some of those are, do you have nagging low back pain, knee pain, pelvic pain in your hips and pelvis? Are you having painful sex? Do you urinate frequently? Do you suffer from constipation? Are you straining when you have a bowel movement? All of those things are telling you that there's something wrong. And so, again, one of the first things that you should do is go and see a pelvic floor physical therapist. I actually went just because I thought I was being, a good girl, because that's what I recommend everyone to do after they have a baby. So when Oliver was 6 weeks old, I went and got an exam. And I basically thought that everything would be fine, and that some of the pain and being uncomfortable that I was experiencing was basically just from being pregnant and having had a C-section. But instead, what I found out was that I have a hypertonic pelvic floor, and I got a lot of information about what was going on in my body, so that I was able to then refocus my energies on really the relaxation phase of my breath and linking my breath to my pelvic floor contraction.
Mm-hmm. And this can be harder than you think. When a muscle is used to being on all the time, it can be really hard to reteach yourself to relax that muscle. So what we've done for you guys is we put together 4 strategies that we use with our clients and with ourselves to find and maximize the relaxation of the pelvic floor.
Right, so before we do anything, let's go back to that sucking in the tummy. Let's all take a deep breath together. Inhale and exhale, let it all hang out. So relax, try to do that several times a day, and just remind yourself that it is okay to not constantly be sucking in your tummy.
Mm-hmm. So let's get to the exercises. The first thing that we do with our clients who suffer from a tight pelvic floor is to teach them some self-myofascial release. So for this, you're going to need a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball. I have a lacrosse ball here. Oftentimes when the pelvic floor has gotten really tight, it's hard to relax the areas surrounding it, and often this is the connective tissue in the perineum, the lower abs, the inner thighs, and the hips that are tight and need some release. So I like the lacrosse ball for the myofascial release just because it doesn't have a lot of give to it like a tennis ball. So you can find these at sporting goods stores, or I'm sure online Amazon has them. So I'm going to try to show you where to put the ball, but you're not going to be able to see it very well.
You're going to put it where the sun don't shine.
Right. So I'm taking this ball, I'm putting it underneath my sit bones, and I'm sitting down.
Yeah. It's sort of like hatching an egg.
Yeah, it's exactly like I'm laying an egg right now.
Right. So literally where you want this ball is in the tissue between the vagina and the anus. Mm-hmm. So we don't want it going in anywhere.
No.
We want it sort of in that in-between spot to sort of loosen up and break up some of the adhesions in that area. Help those areas relax, because chances are if your pelvic floor is tight, the tissue in your perineum is tight too. Yeah, you can keep that, by the way.
I just got myself a new lacrosse ball. It's kind of like licking somebody's food when you want to eat it. Before
Right. I'm going to sit on your lacrosse ball.
I'm going to lay an egg over here. So, the other areas, the lower abs, the inner thighs, the hips, you can do this laying down on the ground. You can do it against the wall, or you can sit just like I was right now. I think probably, like Kara was mentioning to me earlier, that the wall is probably my favorite option, just because you have direct control over how much or how little pressure you can give, except for the one that I showed you for the perineum. You do have to be sitting for that one.
Yeah. There's not another good way to get that.
It's not pretty.
Right. So the next exercise that we give our clients is diaphragmatic breathing. This will help with you sort of relaxing, sucking in that tummy. And so we're going to actually head down to the lawn to go over that. Here we go. Okay. Going to the lawn. Taking you guys around the house, and it's a beautiful day.
It is.
Okay, so I'm gonna have Jill lay down here on this yoga mat. See if I can get a good angle here. Perfect. So she's gonna lay down, and lying down is probably the best position to do the diaphragmatic breathing, because you can really let everything relax, and that's what we're really focusing on today, is the relaxation. So you're going to put your hands on your tummy, and as you inhale, you're going to let the belly expand, and you might even see or feel your hands pull apart. And then as you exhale, they come back together. So inhale, you're going to expand the belly like a balloon, and exhale and let it come down. So once you've got that down and you're feeling yourself breathe in and out with your diaphragm instead of your neck and shoulders, then I want you to start thinking about the pelvic floor as well. So as she inhales, she's going to think about expanding that pelvic floor down. And then as she exhales, it'll come back up. So inhale and you're relaxing everything. That pelvic floor is extending and widening. And then exhale and it comes back up. So that's diaphragmatic breathing. When you're first starting this, especially if you have some trouble relaxing, this will take a little bit of time, but keep at it.
So the other thing that we're going to go over, the next thing that we give our clients is helping them to find proper alignment. So I'm going to turn the camera on Kara so you can see her pretty well here. So first, our alignment gets a little screwy because of how we go about our day. Either we're pregnant and our bellies are pulled forward and our back is getting extended, or we're sitting at our desk kind of slouched over the computer, or you're holding a baby and your hip is cocked out to one side and you're leaning way back. So all of those things can actually affect the way that your pelvic floor functions. So now that we have the breath, we're going to find the alignment. So the first cue that we give people for finding your alignment is getting your ribs over your hips. When you get your ribs over your hips, you have a nice neutral spine. Your pelvis is not, or your hips aren't tipped too far forward or too far back. The shoulders are nice and relaxed, or not pulled back, but they're in line there. And her head is not too far forward or even too far back. So really getting the ribs over the hips is the first cue that helps everything else kind of fall into place. So that's going to take some practice as you're going throughout your day. Even as you're holding your babies, try to keep your ribs over your hips.
Okay, so the last thing that we're going to talk about is the squatty potty. So if you're having a hard time relaxing, and sometimes women have a hard time with some of these exercises because they have a tight pelvic floor and they're worried about incontinence, and so they're worried that if they let themselves relax, then they're going to pee themselves a little bit. So we're just going to embrace that, and we're going to bring the relaxed pelvic floor to the potty. So I have brought my squatty potty out onto my lawn.
Not a toilet.
Right, but not a toilet. Sorry. So if you guys don't know, we absolutely love the Squatty Potty, especially for pregnant and postpartum moms. We love it just in general, and it is one of the prizes for our Making Time for Mom challenge. So if you are participating in that right now, this could be yours. So what the Squatty Potty does is it elevates the feet and it brings us into a more natural position to eliminate. And what that can mean for you is not only better eliminations, but a more relaxed pelvic floor. There's no better way to relax the pelvic floor than in a squat position while relieving yourself. So get a Squatty Potty and practice that. If you don't have one, but you want to start practicing this right now, I would recommend doing a squat and peeing in your shower. I'm not kidding. Pee in your shower.
I'm not going to demonstrate
We're
that
not
for
going to
you.
demonstrate that, but that is a really good way to practice what it feels like to really relax the pelvic floor, is to sort of let everything go and relax it that way.
So because we're not going to demonstrate peeing in the shower for you, we are going to demonstrate the squat. So we went over the breathing, we went over the alignment. Now we're going to incorporate those things into our movement. So this is one of the first exercises that we give our clients, is the squat. So I'm going to turn the camera on Cara so you can see her. There she is. Okay. So first and foremost, what she's going to do is she's going to find her alignment. She's going to get her ribs over her hips, nice neutral spine. The butt is slightly untucked. Her neck is neutral. She's ready to go. The next thing she's going to do is she's going to do one practice breath. So she's going to put her hands on her belly. She's going to inhale. As she inhales, the pelvic floor muscles are relaxing. She's going to exhale. Hands are going to come back together a little bit, and the pelvic floor muscles are drawing up. So she's done her alignment check. She's got her breathing down. Now she's going to incorporate it into the movement. So she's going to take a big breath in as she comes down. She's going to relax in the bottom position, and then she's going to exhale and draw those pelvic floor muscles on the way back up. So again, she's going to breathe in on her way down, relax, exhale, draw the pelvic floor muscles up as she comes up. So when we say squat and pee in the shower, this is the type of squat that we're talking about, although you don't have to come up and down.
Right. You can just stay down.
You can just stay down.
Think pee in the woods.
Right. So those are the 4 things that we give people. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And like we said, our mission is to help moms feel more comfortable in their body and to be strong and powerful.
Get in there.
We need a selfie stick, really, but I'm just not willing to go there for some reason.
Right.
So, if you have any questions, again, tell us in the comments. We're going to put the link for the Lift, Laugh, Kegel self-exam in. We'll also put a link in for the Squatty Potty. We're actually a Squatty Potty affiliate, so if you buy a Squatty Potty from our specific site, we get a little kickback. So if you love us, you can do that. Squatty Potty is something that we totally believe in.
Yes. So one of the things that we are getting ready to do that we are so excited about is we're getting ready to launch our signature program called Fit Mom Foundations. This is an online training group for pregnant and postpartum moms. It is basically our best stuff that we have spent thousands of hours developing to deliver to moms in a group where they can get to know one another, the best information that they need to train during pregnancy and after. Mm-hmm. So we're extremely excited about this. You'll want to be looking for the launch. We are going to be launching officially on September 6th, but you'll be seeing a lot of stuff in social media building up to that.
Right. We are super pumped. So we give things like this and many other things that we know is good for the pregnant and postpartum body. So if there's no questions, we're going to hop off here and take the Squatty Potty back in the house.
Yes.
Okay.
You snailed it.
Oh yeah.
For all of our mamas out there, snailed it.
Bye guys.
Bye.